She has to be able to be seen.
Okay, I'm hanging up. Uh-oh.
No, we're good. I just got to mute.
So you're gonna have to turn one of them off.
There. Now we're good. Okay. We're all set.
All right, we have everybody on?
Yes, Lynn is on there. Karen is on there. She's Dell.
Okay. So let's call the meeting to order at 7:03. We don't have any guests, so we're good with that. Can Lynn turn on her,
Yeah, she'll need to turn on her camera.
can speak to this?
Yeah, if you, that's got the microphone in it and
Okay.
the speakers.
Lynn, can you turn on your camera so we can swear you in?
Yes.
Hold on just a second. Okay, say something to us.
Can you hear me?
Yes, okay, perfect. Okay. And you're just Lynn Prigg, no middle name. All right, so, oh, I'm looking at the computer. I need to look at you. So repeat after me. I, Lynn Prigg,
I, Lynn Pragg,
solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
Constitution of the State of Oregon,
and the Constitution of the State of Oregon
thereof,
and the laws thereof,
and will faithfully and honorably perform
and will faithfully and honorably perform
the duties of director
the duties of director
in and for the county and state
in and for the county and state
aforesaid to which I have been appointed,
aforesaid to which I have been appointed,
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
You are so sworn. Thank you, dear. Hey, when are you coming back?
Day after tomorrow.
Nice, all right, I think.
It's time for newspaper again.
Oh, right. All right. So let's go ahead and go into the minutes. Shelby.
Okay, you have the minutes for our November meeting. Were there any corrections that needed to be made?
Have any corrections to the minutes? Let's see if you had added did you add the boat doc?
Yes,
Perfect.
it's all in there.
All right, thank you. Oh, there it is, thank you.
Nobody has any issues?
Just need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented for the November meeting.
A second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So passed. Financial statements.
Okay, so the first thing that you have is the letter from the county clerk for elections. I tried to highlight that, but it didn't look like it came through. And there is a reminder that says that if you have any directors that have been appointed, they will have to file and run to finish out the remaining term. So that would be David. You need to file for candidacy to run to finish out your 2-year term. And then Karen and Lynn's term expire this year, so they will have to run again if they choose to.
Okay. But David, then
Yes.
somebody could vote no against his,
Mhm.
what?
Yes, if he is appointed in between elections, that's the risk they run. If we had waited until after this election, he could have finished out the 2 terms for 2 years.
Oh. Okay.
So I gotta have it all turned in by February 2nd?
No,
No, that
Actually,
was
that's
was this form that I had to fill out showing who had
March,
been replaced.
Okay.
March 18th.
I was
March
gonna
18th
say,
is
cause
when
I
you-
talked to her about the fire board.
Yeah,
and,
no, March
Um,
18th is when you need to have it sent in by. So when I put all the forms in there.
Still want my kids around to get some signatures. Be my campaign manager.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Mm-hmm.
I won't pay them quite as well as the real ones get paid.
So the next thing is the budget calendar for this next fiscal year. Tonight, we need to appoint a budget officer.
I move that we have Shelby Piercy as our budget officer.
Is there a second? Did you guys hear George?
No,
I nominated Shelby to be the budget officer. Did you hear that?
yes.
Okay.
I'll second the motion.
There we go, sorry.
Muted it.
Oh, yeah.
I turned it back off. Oh, all in
Lynn
favor,
seconded.
Motion
sorry.
and seconded.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Lynn, do we need to approve the calendar as well? Do we need to do anything with that?
I move we accept the proposed budget calendar as presented.
I second.
Motion that too was not.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I don't have to if it's all,
Oh,
if you guys all voted, then I don't have to. But yes, aye. Aye, Captain. Alrighty,
Writing as fast as I can.
yeah, no worries.
Okay, the next thing that we have is a recap of our capital expenditures. For the top portion is for this fiscal year, what we've spent so far. We've bought the Toro mower. That is a tongue twister. We've replaced the private boat dock. We've installed the 18-hole disc golf course. We've also purchased 2 weed eaters, a pole pruner, and a blower so far this year. Any questions on that?
So I see that other years we got split up between the park and the
Mhm.
rec. Are
We haven't had anything yet this year for the rec.
That's all for the park.
the pool covered?
Perfect.
We haven't gotten the invoice for that.
Oh.
And until we get the invoice, I won't know exactly what the amount is to put on this.
All right. I was gonna say, that looks like a pretty big
Yep.
good street.
We haven't gotten the actual invoice for that yet.
Okay.
If George is going to speak, he's going to have to either get closer to the owl or he's going to have to speak louder.
Yes, I agree.
So,
Here, George, since nobody's in this, and let me just sit down, you can sit next to me. Okay. I don't need to be. Here. It's about over here,
Where do you want me?
right next to Shelby.
You bite.
Well, you guys in that size of room should be able to sit 6 feet apart. And that owl should be able to do its job.
I was not
yeah.
even 8 feet away from it. You couldn't hear me.
Well, that must be because you got your muffle on.
Muffle, I got my muffle on.
Oh, you guys. Okay, the next thing is the treasury report. One thing I do want to point out, the boat dock banner bank account is zeroed out. We've transferred that money over towards the general loan for the boat dock, so that's all taken care of. And the operations account for the rec center is up to 488,184. That's because we did receive the CRES money. Is there any other questions about the treasury report? And the second page is the Go Bond. I blew it up for you guys so you guys can see it
That was nice.
better.
Yes, that was nice.
Yeah, the next payment isn't due until 6/15 of 21. And then I'm also,
I'm sorry,
Go
how
ahead.
much did we get in prize money?
it was almost 350,000.
Oh, wow.
Looks like it's way in here.
Found it, 348.
Yeah, it was pretty close to 350.
Okay.
Okay, so the next one is the amortization schedule for the boat dock loan as well as the Bank of EO loan. We did make the Bank of EO loan in December 30th. So the next one is not due until January 1st of 22. And we will make our first boat dock, official boat dock payment on June 1st of this year, after we get the mortgage payments for this year.
So are we going to take in that amount of money on the boat dock rent? How much money are we anticipating as an income from the boat dock?
This was if every single space was occupied, and Ted thought that that was what he'd be able to get. So that's what we went with.
So is that fund that's available to cover costs? Is that what that figure is?
Yes.
Okay. So what if we don't collect 63,000?
The 63,000, that was what was in the boat dock bank account. And that
Okay.
was, we already put that towards the cost. So the amount that we'd have to collect this year is the 12,498.
Okay, that was my question. All right. I got it.
In the upper right corner, he has that our current rentals come in at 11,200. So
Yes.
no matter what, we're covered at least for 11,200.
Yes, that
Okay.
is correct.
So we're not too far off if he doesn't get the new rentals.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so the next page is the statement of revenues and expenditures for the park for November. And Karen, you asked how much we had gotten in for property tax revenue back in November. We had gotten 364,138 is what
Okay.
we had gotten in.
So over on our budget, do we budget how much we think we're getting in property taxes?
Yes. We do.
I don't have it. with
Let me
me,
grab
I'm
the other,
sorry.
let me grab it and hold my desk.
Oh, no, that's-
Well, it should be on this summary of the budget. I don't know, because I've got some questions about that page.
It is budgeted on there, but it's, let's see. We gotta get to it because it's way past everything. Property tax, yes, we budgeted $3,098.63.
Yeah.
So that's called other campground revenue? No, I see, property tax. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so that's what has been budgeted.
So we were off by,
Well, we over budgeted.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we
6%.
over budgeted by about 30,000. No, yeah,
Let's go back to the page because I want to talk about that page we're looking at now about the budget thing. So let's finish with page wherever we were at on the beginning of the.
Okay, well, were
Revenue.
there any questions about the November statement of revenues and expenditures for the park?
Right.
If not, we'll go to the next one. This is the bank account activity for November for the park. There's no questions on that. The next one is the statement of revenues and expenditures for the park for December. And I will point out the CREZ money is showing on the park. I originally did not realize it went to the pool and I caught it after this was set and I changed it in January. I fixed it for January, so.
I'm sorry, could you repeat what you just said? I didn't hear, it. I wasn't paying attention.
On here, it shows the Columbia River Enterprise money is on the park.
Uh-huh,
It's actually budgeted for the pool. When we got the money in,
oh, right.
nobody specified for me that that was needed to go there.
Right.
So I just assumed it
So
went to the
that's been
park.
changed over.
Yes, so it
Okay.
has switched over. It won't show on this because it's switched over after the
Right.
cutoff. So the next page is the activity for the bank account for December for the park.
Okay, I have a question then about, it's probably the first third of the page, it's not half. It's GS Media and Events, $6,336.50.
That's good, Sam.
How comes it's so high? It's
That's
never
actually-
been that high.
That's actually $3,000 lower than what it was last year. Last year's cost was almost $9,000 for the ad. And this was actually the cheapest we could go without completely dropping the ad altogether. And once you drop it, they won't take you back.
Okay,
All right, so the next report is the budget comparison for this fiscal year for the park. And Karen, you had some questions on this?
well, I guess I don't understand your bookkeeping program. I've never
Okay.
seen one that, when you have a column that says the amount you budget,
Yes.
and then the amount you actually spend ends up in reverse. But then if you go down, like I'm on the income, so then if I go down to the fourth line, I budget 40,000 and I only spend 37, and it still is a negative number. So I don't know how your bookkeeping program works. Because if you go up to what's in the LGIP General Park Fund, it
Yes.
says we budgeted 192,000 and we took in 1,068,000.
We have a surplus of 876,000.
I know, but I don't, most of the bookkeeping programs I've worked with I'm either, it appears to me that like on the long-term overnight fee, that on that fourth line that says 40,000 that I budgeted and I took in 37, it either should not be in parentheses if the three numbers above it are correct.
All the numbers look
Yeah.
the same, whether they're positive or negative.
I
I
see
get
where
you,
I
Karen.
see where,
Until you get down lower.
yeah.
Right. See, I don't understand. I'm having trouble trying to figure this out when I'm either my budgeting. Well, I'm those first four lines, I cannot. So it has to make a decision whether I budget it too much or not enough, and what it's going to carry over on my remaining budget.
Okay,
Because-
I see where you're looking, and I can look at it for the next month.
Well, if I'm all wrong, just say so.
No, I see what you're saying.
Karen,
not
I
wrong.
see what you're saying too. Something isn't quite right.
No, I think we need to have the bank statement that's been reconciled, attached to our financial things.
That wouldn't make any difference on this page, Karen.
No, I
I
know
s-
that, but it just seems to me like I have no way of knowing whether these figures are accurate or not on any of these pages. I just assume that they are. And to be honest, I wouldn't have paid any attention had all the income up there not been in brackets where we received more money than we anticipated. Most of the time it works the opposite way. So anyway, if you would look at that.
Yep, I will do that.
Okay.
Any other questions on that one? Anybody else? Okay, the next page is our campground stats for December. Cash basis, we brought in $135,297. That was because of all of the letters that we received for this next camping season reservation. There's no questions on that. We'll move on to the pool financials.
Well, okay, so then you go to December and it says that you had 1,055 campsites rented. So that's the number that have been rented for the next season.
No, that was for this month of December. We had more people staying in the campground.
Than ever? Or are we just charging them more?
No, this was actual nights occupied.
Those numbers aren't related though, are they? Because at 135 is people that paid for maybe something in February, March.
Right.
So
Yeah.
those numbers aren't directly related.
No, they're not. It's two completely different reports.
Well, then how does this work? If I'm looking at that column 2020-2021 and it says July. Oh, I see how it works. It works like that. By the time you add the tenths and the overflow, I get this figure. And this month we had no extra. We just had that. All right. Okay. Yeah, that's a really exceptional.
Yes.
Best one ever.
Well,
For
and this
December.
new program, it runs better occupancy report so we can actually get better numbers on our occupancy as well.
Boy, we're gonna have slim income in July. When you're taking in this much in the winter.
I'm just surprised that we're that many people, that many camping nights rented during December.
Well, we had a really mild December, and I think that helped
Yeah.
a lot.
Well, and a lot of people that have campers, they don't care where they're going, but they're gonna get out of wherever they've been. And it's even if it's for a day or two. So. Okay,
Back on your budget comparison for the park,
Yeah,
the code 4407 for miscellaneous income is down under the expenses. Oddly enough.
yeah, that shouldn't be down there. End of report. Okay. Next report is the statement of revenues and expenditures for the pool for November.
so on that one, when you go down to the sponsorships, who was that? It says 36,000.
Tillamook, Finley Buttes, and
Oh, no. that was in
No.
there. Boardman Foods.
yes, Boardman Foods.
And Boardman paid it? Wow.
Yeah,
It was late.
Well, that's not memberships, that's.
no, that's just the
just
corporate
Sponsorship.
sponsorships.
Yeah,
Yes,
and these are the ones we build,
correct.
correct? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, those are the ones that we billed for. Which Marcy Rodello has paid her last 2 years. She still had a year to be billed for this year. She decided to pay it up front, so her obligation is met.
Okay.
Okay, on the November income for the pool, I can see the check that we received from Tillamook because it's right at the very end of that month, and it says 20,000. So
Yeah.
where am I looking for the other 16?
This automatically does it when you bill for accounts receivable. It puts it in as the revenue, but it puts it in accounts receivable holding account. So this shows that we've billed for all of these people, and it will not count as revenue later.
Oh, that's no good. You mean it puts down here 36,000 and you don't have 36,000?
Yes, because it sits in accounts receivable for billing. On the balance sheet.
Okay, you lost me, go back, what are we doing?
Karen's looking at this figure right here for
Yeah.
sponsorships.
Yeah,
When you go into the program and you bill it, it puts it in as income, but then it sticks it in a holding account for accounts receivable and will not count it as income later.
But she
Yeah,
said she was able to.
That makes it so that you can't see what month. They may not pay for another 2 or 3 months. So then how do you balance your bank account?
Because this doesn't count for your bank account. This is an accrual basis.
Okay, I understand that, but if I'm looking at revenue and there's no revenue there, I'm going to be questioning somebody about where's the money.
Karen, can I make a suggestion?
Yes,
If we had a balance sheet that broke out all those accounts, we could question what is in the receivables. And then we would know that
Right,
it hasn't been received yet. So we need a balance sheet also.
so that we show what's in our
Right.
account receivable. Okay, I
Right.
can understand that.
I agree, because when I'm looking at this, I just assumed we had that money. So I guess if we don't have that money, because it does say actual, so I just assumed we had it. So if we don't have it,
We do
then,
have all of it now. In November, we did not have it. We had the 20,000 and then the rest of it came in December.
Yeah, but
right,
that's,
So
I mean,
that's
they can
not the
choose
point.
not to. Yeah, and we may never know that it's not paid. Only you would know it's not paid. So, so yeah, we would wanna know whether those have been paid or not, so I agree. What did Lynn say we're gonna be
a
getting
balance sheet.
this year?
well, we need an accounts receivable. Yes, because we've never run, maybe on the boat dock, have we run accounts receivable before, Lynn? But usually we don't post income until it's actual income.
We're on the accrual basis now, and that's why we need a balance sheet. And
Okay.
then we can question these accounts from the balance sheet.
Okay. So now, then I want to go down to the one that says grants. And on the actual year to date, it says 253,777. And on the actual for November's period, it says 53,193. So who are the grants from?
That's the COVID money.
Oh, okay. So all of that money in that line item is from COVID.
And that's actually what we do have then?
Yes. Yes, the COVID money has been completely expended. And we've already claimed all of it.
Have we spent any of it?
You have to spend it before you can claim it.
Yeah.
So it was basically
Where's
us
the
getting
COVID money?
reimbursed for it.
It's in,
The
under the
grants?
grants.
Okay.
No, that's been really helpful, that money.
The next report is the bank account activity for the pool for November.
So are we taking, and is that person named Dean Ellington or whatever? Let's see, where's his name at?
That's him.
Dean Ellingson, yes.
Oh, okay. Are we splitting his time between the pool and the park?
When he works between the two, yes. Right now, he's working solely for the park.
Okay.
Who is he?
One of the
He's
lifeguards.
one of our head
Our
lifeguards.
lifeguards.
Oh, Dean.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he's down here now.
Oh, okay, good for him. That's probably a good one.
Okay.
Okay, so the next report is the statement of revenues and expenditures for the pool for December.
Okay, so is that grant there, the 18,000, what's that from?
That is still the COVID money.
So we ended up with 272,000 from COVID?
It was a total of 285. But part of it went towards the park and part of it, majority of it went towards the pool.
Okay.
So yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say your actual here shows 272 to the park.
Yeah,
Or I mean to the pool.
to the pool, yes.
Because for the park, it was $13,624.
Okay, the next report is the bank account activity for the pool for December. There's one in there that you're looking at.
Are we current on, memberships from our corporate people?
No, we are not. That is something that Scott, Cynthia, and I have been working on, trying to get it all figured out. Boardman Foods, their memberships are a mess, to put it lightly. Right now,
What about the port? Are
the
they
port is
doing
good.
okay?
They are actually very, very good to work with.
Okay.
They communicate with us well and let us know when employees have
Right.
dropped or come on. We're having a hard time with that with the other ones.
Right,
Lamb
okay,
Weston and Boardman Foods are the hardest ones.
Yes.
okay. Is Lamb
They do it
Weston-
differently. Every one of them does it differently, so.
Yeah, the only one that's current for Lamb Weston is the cold storage.
Okay,
So the other two, the east and the west plants, we've billed, we've let them know, and we're just kind of waiting patiently to see
okay,
if they send their employees to us to pay or if they're going to do payroll deduction on it.
okay.
So. The next report is the budget to comparison for this fiscal year for the pool. Karen, I will check on those top two columns for you on this one as well.
Okay, thanks.
Any questions on any of those?
So if I'm looking at this budget comparison on the pool and on the bottom, it says report difference. And then it says year-to-date actual, 1,992,000. And then it says remaining budget, 2 million something. Now, do you think that figure is accurate or do we know?
Those figures are accurate. It's taking into the account that we have over almost $1 million in the LGIP that is not accounted for. That is over what we budgeted for. So that's what it's taking into account here.
Okay.
If there's no other questions on those, the next two pages are the scan histories. You can choose to look at those or not, as we've been closed since the middle of November.
Well, the days we were open though, people really came.
Having 24-hour access made a huge difference.
Yes, it did.
So how much longer can we keep this payroll up? Being closed all the time? And that's not a Shelby question.
And I are looking at each other, shaking our heads.
I wish I had the right answers.
Yeah.
Well, I think somewhere down the road here, somebody's gonna have to make some really hard decisions.
I think we need to come together if this continues on and decide exactly how we want to operate or not operate
Yeah.
portions of the rec center.
Well, I was astounded, to be honest, when I seen this page that said so many closed days. You know, you just forget. You know, they all kind of run together. But then when you seen such a long list of closed, it was pretty shattering, I have to say.
Pretty scary.
It's so difficult. You know, in the beginning, I will tell you that people were upset over it and all that. Now they're upset over it, but they don't
They're not
blame
mad at
us
us.
anymore. They're saying, you guys can't help it. We feel sorry for you guys having to do those all the time. And when are they gonna get this thing figured out? And that's the thing right there is, as at what point? I mean, it changes all the time. I mean, everybody can't come together. Now you can have kids come together, but you can't have parents come together.
Right.
I mean, I don't know when it's gonna change next. And right now, we just basically have to be closed until the 12th now.
Until the what?
Well, the new governor guidelines that came out today stated that we're still in extreme risk and that we can have 6 people if you have 500 or more square feet in a building. That's including staff.
So we can't have anybody because
It's
we have
no.
6 people there.
Well, we don't.
Well, no,
We
or-
don't, unless only time we ever have any more than like 3 of us is when Kidscape is running.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, oh, boy.
So if there's no other questions on the financials, that would be all I have for you.
I would need a motion.
I'm so moved to we accept the treasury report, financial report.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
What about the resolution?
Was that part of the
That would be the next.
financial?
Yep.
That's in the old business. All right, so moving on to old business, let's go ahead and wrap up the packet by going over that resolution. Karen, are you good with that resolution this time?
Yes.
Okay. Does somebody want to make a motion?
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution 2021-001.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Do you, yeah, I was gonna
Sign
say.
in.
Start passing around. So, while he's doing that, I just, before we moved on to anything else,
Mhm.
can you, help me out again then?
Yes.
I know you've covered this with me a couple of times, but, out of the COVID money that we received, I
Mhm.
know that, we bought, because I signed the I think a
The
sign up
checks,
thing for it,
yeah.
yeah, so we
Mhm.
spent money on, laptops
Correct.
for people.
Mhm.
And then what other kinds of things did we utilize those funds for?
So we bought a lot of supplies for the Kidscape program, because it was billed as educational and for PE and art type things, because that's something they're not getting at school right now. We bought a lot of sanitation things. We bought items for barriers down at the rec center, such as tables, chairs for social distancing, the laptops. I'm trying to think what else. That was the majority of it. And then
And then
Personal
salaries?
protection.
Yeah. Face masks, salaries for COVID employees that were having to do COVID activities included with their everyday stuff. I think that was
Yeah.
that was
A lot
majority it.
of janitorial, a lot of cleaning,
Yes.
a lot of stuff. We made sure we had plenty of that to
Yeah.
continue going.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you, do you remember how much for the Kidscape? I mean, were we awarded like
It's
like even a general amount that you could tell me that?
It was quite a
Like
bit,
over
but the
10?
plan was that
no.
we can reuse a lot of that as we continue.
Yeah,
So,
So lines 5703 program expense was 4245.20. That was all Kidscape.
I'll just pick it down. Okay. Okay, I'm skipping over those. So, Karen and Lynn, do you have any other old business that you want to discuss, would like to discuss?
I don't.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Under new business, I guess we'll go with George first.
I'm kind of concerned that we got some workers that get to use the credit cards. I'm really leery that, you know,
So talk to me about that. What do you,
Well-
specifics?
well,
What are you talking
if
about?
we got, I hate the idea that we have credit cards out there that, I'll just say a lower level employee has access to use them.
Well, I didn't know we did, so tell me what, I guess tell me what we're.
Shelby, can
What
you
we're doing.
expound a little
Can I-
more on this?
can I-
That,
I'll let
Is that right?
I'll let you.
yeah,
That's fine.
all right, so I will tell you that who I know, Imelda and Ted, myself and Tessa, 4 people.
And me.
And you, I didn't
Yes,
know that.
I have one
Okay, you
now.
have one
Yeah.
now too, okay. So when I first came in, 5.5 years ago, Tessa had one then, because she was apparently always using either Ted's or Bingo's, and that created problems because she was running the summer rec program, and sometimes they weren't around. So Ted got me one, and then so Tessa already had one. Then I got one. So since I've been here, I'm the only one that's got one since that time. The 4 have, but I will tell you this, that the only one who I manage is Tessa. And she already, every time before she needs to buy something for a program, she comes and talks to me. It does get approved before it ever goes through.
But you're approving the credit card statements when they come in, aren't you? And Ted
Yes,
too?
Ted too.
Okay.
Each time we have a receipt for what we've bought. We write on it exactly what it's for, who bought it, sign it.
Yeah. And I reconcile those receipts against the statements. If we're missing any, I go back to them and say, hey, I need your receipts. And they make sure and they turn those in to us.
have we ever had any problems with that not happening?
You can ask
Not since
Lynn.
I've
I
been
don't
I'm
know.
gonna
here.
ask Lynn here in a
I
second,
say
yeah.
not since I've been here. They've always turned in receipts. There have been instances where a card was used for a personal item for an employee. That employee has turned around and paid for that. Whether that was happening before I was here, I don't know.
I did it once a long time ago to Lynn, and I caught it, and it's like I came with cash because I grabbed the wrong card on my wallet. It happened once to me. It can happen, but every receipt, Lynn looked at them, and she should speak for herself, but Lynn looked at them. I know that we had to give receipts to her. Now we give receipts to Shelby. It'd be very difficult to only have one card here, one card there. It'd be very difficult to do our business sometimes.
Okay. Lynn, can you expound on your experience when you were here? You have
I
problems
think-
with that?
No, I think that the people who have the cards ought to have the cards, and they're good at keeping their receipts. And if they don't have a receipt, they go get one and bring it. So everything is documented, and it's just the way you have to do business now. They order a lot of things online, and they need a credit card to do that. And they have receipts for everything. No, it's not a problem. It's just a method of doing business.
As long as we haven't had problems. I mean, that's just my concern. I hate the idea it's being used for personal use, ever.
As long as they're making notes though, that,
Yeah.
I don't think it was ever done intentionally ever by anybody.
Yeah.
so, I got a call about, about the disc golf.
Okay.
And one of the things coming up and hitting a moving car.
Oh, no.
So I'm assuming,
I was wondering if that was gonna be a problem for where some of the baskets had been placed.
Yeah.
yeah,
We didn't design it. It was designed by somebody outside of the
Right.
park,
right,
but that was one of the concerns that I was wondering if it was gonna come up.
okay. My question is the things that we do, if somebody's playing disc golf and a thing flies up and hits somebody and they get in an accident over it, we cannot, anybody can sue anybody, but we're not liable for that, correct? Because it's just a public
That's a good
use
question.
I
thing.
believe at a golf course, if your golf ball flies off the course and hits a car out here, the golf course is not liable. I
And there's
believe the
also a thing called
golfer-
recreation amenity.
Right,
We don't charge for disc golf. That doesn't mean it would hold up all the time, but
Right.
that is on our side.
That would be a good question to get a hold of the SDAO and
Karen, do you know?
No.
We're not,
I think you'd better call because,
That's gonna be Michelle back.
yeah, that could be a pretty gray area, I would think.
and we'll
I
probably
have
just
Michelle's
wanna
number.
keep track, if you
I
guys
have
hear
Michelle's number
of
at
anything,
Wheatland.
any
that would
more
be who you need to
cars
talk
getting
to.
hit or frisbees flying, we probably should note that so if it happens again, maybe we could make somebody move a basket.
Okay.
I know in the Dells, when we put one in, we didn't have cars, the problem, but we had enough people going the park to get hit.
Right, yeah.
Yep, we will do some checking on that.
Well, and you probably better add it to your insurance policy so that they know that we have it.
Yeah, inventory,
We actually just
Yeah.
renewed that too.
yeah, exactly, whenever you add, furniture, basically, right?
Yep.
Okay. Does anybody have any other new business? Does anybody know if the park has been, how is our business down here at the park? Like this, what,
Is it, as far as busyness, is that what you mean?
yeah, is Imelda doing okay? Are our campers okay?
As far as I know, the campers are doing good. We have had some complaints come in
For
from campers for the girls not answering phones, not having information that they should, giving permission to hunters,
Oh,
to,
yeah,
you know,
that,
that kind of stuff. But in all reality, that's not really much out of normal.
yeah, yeah,
So-
correct. It's always been like that, I think, every year, but,
So,
okay.
You know what I have to say about that? It's not much out of normal. It's the same old stuff and we don't deal with it.
Uh-huh.
So, you know,
Supposed to deal with it.
and like I say, nobody, I didn't see anything mentioned about the goose hunting thing in any of our reports. And I think that is really important to have mentioned to the board. I don't think that we should hear it by the gossip tree. I think somebody should have said, or maybe even called the board members, or at least sent out an email and said, you know, we've had this little incident down here and these young men were going to do us a favor and get rid of the geese and weren't in the right area. And that the booth people didn't know whether they should be shooting a gun or not.
and that is something that Scott and I apologize for. And it was one of those things that nobody even called Scott or I about it until after it was already done. And yeah, I was over at the rec center working with Scott and I came back and here's these guys walking out with guns and I'm going, what is going on? Go down. Gino happened to be at playing disc golf on his day off and came over and took care of it.
By the time Shelby told me, I said, I'll be right down. She said, they're already gone.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I think it was handled. I don't think that's my point. I think my point is that I found out because somebody called me in the next day or two and said, well, did you know? No, I did not know. I've spent 25 years on that park board and nobody mentions those kind of gun items to me.
We didn't have all the information until days later when Gino came back to work as well.
But I do understand what you're saying.
Yes.
Emin on the third party word, we should have notified you.
Well,
Yeah,
I think a gun item,
yeah. Just that alone, the fact that they were carrying guns.
yeah, I mean, that seems to me, I mean, the girl's not answering the phone. Okay, everybody knows that that's an irritating to me, and I've harped on it for the 20 years I've been there, that you can't just sit there and not answer that phone. And actually, come to think about it, I just, in Scott's report, maybe, you know, he said that they took a lot of reservations online this year.
Yes.
Yes.
So they don't have to answer the phone to do that, do they?
No. Nope.
Well, then they could be answering the phone. Well, okay, that, you know what you really need is a new phone system. I think we
Can
ought
I-
to budget for that this next year.
Can I interject, Karen?
Yeah,
I was looking into that at one time and I spoke with Darren from Unitech and about our phone issues. It's either a problem here or a problem in the rec center. And he told me, this is what he told me. He told me that the rec center is really close to fiber optic. It's just right there by the street. If you brought fiber optic line, that problem would go away completely at the rec center. Fiber optic for down here, the closest is at Burnfield. That's not affordable. However, he suggested if we could put a repeater, like maybe on the water tower, it would probably take care of that problem. I did report that.
yes, I remember that. And I do know that, like the other day, Ted and I are talking on the phone, And I think we had to dial each other 4 times to finish.
Wow.
Yeah, it drops 10 minutes and I drop a phone call and it's aggravating.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Wind is howling at all, it's worthless to even try to use the phone. We all end up using our cell phones.
Wow, that's bad.
Yep.
Well, and see that is bad for various reasons about using your cell phone for work.
Yep.
And yeah, but anyway, I think we, and now that, that PD fast that we had put all the broadband in around Boardman,
Yes.
they've completed their project. And so now they're hooking up people. And I told them to look into and to talk to, because at one time, I think we thought we could have a pole even at towards the back of our shop, that if we had good service. Anyway, I agree that somebody's got to do something. You can't do business. 2 things: you can't do business by not answering the phone, but it's even worse when you don't. No wonder you don't want to answer the phone if you know you can only, that you're going to have to redial it 4 times just to get a conversation in. So,
It's
all right,
horrible.
that's my phone complaint.
And definitely back on that subject that Karen just brought up about, I mean, any of those big ticket items like guns, if anybody had a drug bust down here, things like that, we would probably want to know that just in case somebody asked us about it. I mean,
Okay.
what if the campers saw that and questioned us or asked us, and I didn't even know anything about it until tonight, so you guys just let us know if you come across something like that. Scott, did you want to go over your
Sure.
rec report?
Sure. Okay, so as I wrote, we closed the pull down on the 14th. And as I reported tonight, it was supposed to open up again on the 1st, but now it's prolonged until the 12th. And that's only if without extreme risk. If we get back into high risk, then we could probably go back unless the governor mandates something differently again. It would go back to 50 people at one time in the building, and 24-hour being open again, which was great. I mean, that helped a lot. And in the beginning, she wouldn't allow 24-hour. Governor wouldn't allow, Oregon Health Authority wouldn't allow that. And then they changed that, so we opened it to 24-hour, and a lot of people came back. So that was important, and that's something that we're missing right now. But hopefully, we get back down to high risk, we'll be able to do that again.
Can I add something to that?
Yes.
If we're gonna open up on the 12th of February, I would like to be proactive and have a plan in place. I know it may have to change because of the mandate, but I'm getting tired, not just everywhere, people waiting and not having any, I mean, the school district, for example, we don't decide anything. We don't have any plan, we're supposed to start football in a couple of weeks and nobody has any idea. It's like, have a plan. If we got to adjust it, that's fine. But if we can open up on February 12th, we need to have the doors open on February 12th, unless it's a massive transition from our old plan that we closed on to a new one.
Right.
Because we got to get the doors open more than closed.
I agree.
And so if we wait till the 15th to open up, that's 3 days that we could have been open.
That's already in motion, just in case we can. But our count is 89 or something like that, and we can only have 60. It needs to drop.
Are your Kidsgate kids, are they coming in and washing their hands immediately? Are they wearing masks? I mean,
Yes.
you're being pretty diligent with them and.
Yeah, drop off only. They
Yeah.
come in, they have to wear their mask. Leaders have to wear their mask. They get sanitized their hands quite often. They're doing crafts or whatever, they're wearing their masks.
They do it when they first come in though, they wash their hands and?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Can I
And
interject?
we do a temperature on each
Oh,
one of
good.
them.
Okay,
Yeah, when they first, before they even, the moment they come in, they stay in that little entry
yeah,
and they get logged in. They get hand sanitizer put on and a temperature reading before they're even allowed to go past that second door to go into the rec
Okay.
center.
Correction on that. We had to move that into the room because the fire department said we couldn't have it in that little entry.
Makes
Well,
sense
the last
then.
time my daughter went, that was where it was at. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Are they then exiting through a different exit? Or are they coming in and out of the same doors?
Yeah, they're coming in and out of the same door.
Okay.
We have signs on it, one-way traffic,
Oh, gotcha, all right,
but we have leaders out there every time they leave or
Yeah.
the whole time, so.
yeah, good.
Okay, so that kind of covers the second part here with Kidscape. So we're full, we've been full with groups of 20. So, and those are split to 10 groups each, and their own leaders, so keep them distance. Swim lessons, the same deal is swim lessons, daddy daughter dance, everything I wrote in here. We cannot offer this until we drop our risk levels. We tried to do it at high risk, but it kept closing. We get one started, it would close. We'd have to close down again, start again, and they lose that momentum. They lose what they remember the first two lessons if we wait that long. So we're just going to wait because we keep having to postpone everyone's lessons until we get into moderate risk level. Daddy daughter dance the same way. As I wrote in here, there's just, if we were to offer this, it would be just a minimal amount of people that we've ever had in the past. And I'm afraid that what we've started, it has gained a lot of momentum. We've built every year. I don't want to offer something less if I can help it. I want to keep that good program going, as I would say, and wait until they can actually get out there and dance with their friends, and they can't until at minimum moderate risk. Pool covers. So you haven't received that check yet. It should be getting here soon. They just told me it's on its way. So,
Perfect.
so we should be getting our incentive check here anytime. And the pool covers are done. They are being used. When the pool is not in use, we do use the pool on a swim night for Kidscape. We're able to do that. So we do use that, but that's the only time the covers come off until we open back up again. I'm gonna do in-service this Friday to train some more people on how to do that safely and correctly. But as far as Tess and I and Nicole, we've got it down to a science. So we're gonna train the rest of the people. So 2 people at all times, never one. So,
And our overall cost on that was what, like 6,000?
I'm sorry.
Our overall cost on that was like what, 6,000 or it was minimal,
give or take,
right?
yes, right in that area.
Yeah.
I don't have exact figures in
Yeah,
front
yeah,
of me, but
but like approximately.
we're gonna receive like 17,000 something
Yeah.
for it in an incentive check.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking.
So
Good job on that.
less than half of what we originally budgeted for.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, good.
SEO conference every year, we get tax break a little bit from our insurance, well, points off our insurance on that. So Ted and I are going to be doing it on Zoom starting February. Well, we have February 3rd, yes, 3rd and 4th. So we'll be taking classes on Zoom. It won't be the same, but it's still the way they're supposedly going to set it up. We can sit and interact and do some networking. And the other thing I wrote was about a grant. So USA Swims have this grant that's going to come out in December, and I would really like to try to apply that and try to work out a partnership with the school district. And maybe we just start small, as an example, Windy River, all 5th graders, something like that, especially if we can get that every year till we get them through, do swim lessons. That we get the money to do it, so that pays for them, but they transport them, something of that order. I would like to look into the possibility of doing that.
Are you thinking about asking BCDA to fund that?
Well, I haven't yet because I wanted to see if I can get some other support as well. And see how far that can take us, and maybe we can do more than just the 5th grade.
The only reason I ask is, you know, they sent out the survey, and so we've gotten some of the initial requests in, and I'd forgotten about that, and so I didn't put it on my list, but I will. We're going to have a Zoom meeting on I think Thursday at 5:30. Yeah, with the results of that survey. So you probably, if you have opinions and stuff, you probably ought to tune in. Because we're not done. But I think that I think at one time we were really supportive of seeing that kids had swimming lessons here.
Okay. I did fill out that survey, but I will.
It's gonna be via Zoom, Karen?
Yes, and I think you have to go on the chamber page. I don't know if BCDA has a page. I don't know what we're doing anymore, but yeah, I'll try to look for the thing and send it out to you guys.
Thank you.
Because
That's good to know. I heard rumors that it was on Facebook, and I don't do Facebook.
oh, everything's on Facebook except me. So yeah, get on Facebook.
Are you saying that you would want to see it done, how do I say this? So not in connection with the school then? It would just be like we are opening it to kids of a certain age then?
Well, I would like to partner with the schools. I think it's important to partner with community members and get them more involved. I mean, because in my mind, I want to see this further possible. You know, maybe nothing's set in stone here, but maybe if we look as an example, do all 5th graders through the system. I would love to see the schools maybe put in a PE class, a swimming PE class.
Right, because the only thing I was going to say is if you go through the school, then those kids are required to participate. Versus if you just open it up to all 5th graders, you may not. The kids that truly do need to get their hindies in there and learn are not going to. They're going to just not go. So
I agree with you.
If they were in a PE class, they might have to participate. So,
Exactly. And then you know what you're getting too.
Yeah,
instead
exactly.
of,
right.
well, I didn't tell you it was, you know,
Right.
a 3rd grader. He's just big for his age.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I don't know how the school the school district feels about that, but it would be kind of interesting to be able to incorporate that into their PE.
School district's not gonna require any kid to get in that pool.
No, probably not, but it'd be awesome if they
It's
did.
gonna be, well, but they won't take that.
Liability.
We won't even just tell a kid he's doing something wrong.
Oh, yeah, true.
It is all about, if the parent doesn't want their kid in that pool, that kid is not going in that pool.
Yeah, true.
Because we don't want them to transfer, because if they go somewhere else, then we don't get their ADL. And that's, we're business now, we're not an education opportunity. It's all about keeping the money here.
I didn't think it'd be easy, but there's a will, there's a way. Figure something out.
Well, and on the surveys that we've had turned in, there's a pretty big push for something for kids to do on Fridays. You know, I mean, even when school's in. And so if you could figure out some way to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's too bad. We don't have I mean, not even Hermiston, I don't think has one, but like a youth center, you know what I mean? We just don't have anything. Nothing that has
Not just focus
pool
on
or foosball or, you know, anything that's a game like craft area, checkers.
An arcade type thing.
Yeah.
Boys and
yeah.
Girls Club type deal.
Yeah.
There's gonna be
yeah,
a
exactly.
facility open in a little over a year, across from the high school, that we're gonna be having meetings about.
Is that community counseling?
The old fire hall, once the new one's built.
Oh,
is going to, I think the idea is to keep part of
Oh,
it, but
gotcha.
that's been my thought, is we turn it into a community center.
Yeah,
Because the senior center has so many restrictions, you know, if you wanted to have a
Right.
wedding or something,
right.
and
Well, and it would be a great location, right? I
and if you're
for-
doing something on a Saturday night, you know, if you wanted to have a get together,
Yeah,
you know,
for,
wedding reception or something, there's plenty of parking.
right. Yeah, be interesting.
But the meetings, we will be having community get-togethers at some point to discuss what the community wants to do with that facility.
Yeah.
There's been several other ideas proposed, but I think it would be a good place to have some kind of a community center
Mhm.
until we decide that the community wants something similar to what Hermiston has. But there's no reason you couldn't utilize that during the week as a after-school program.
Right. Right.
You still have your report to finish,
Pardon me, the only thing else I had was,
the
what
stuff on
Karen
the
mentioned.
park,
I'm sorry?
the stuff on the park.
Yes, this, so, yeah, disc golf is completed. We're hitting cars now. And Gino's been working on maintenance, and then, of course, the reservations, which is, I think that's pretty, that kind of tells the story a little bit there.
And actually, I do have a correction to it. So the 200 mail-in, that was 200 envelopes. And it actually resulted in 773 reservations out of those 200 envelopes.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Yeah, I went back.
Even better.
Yes. Yep, I went back and pulled that. So for this next camping season, we've actually taken 1,466 reservations.
That's outstanding.
You're welcome.
Do we have a camera in our booth?
No,
Why don't we?
that would be a TED question. I do think it would be a fabulous idea to put in there.
Yes.
Ted was opposed to it.
What?
I don't know. He just said he didn't think we ought to have one in there. Scott, I didn't get a copy of your report. Will you add me to your email list?
LA.
Have male and female employees that work in that booth together at one time?
Yes.
We
Yes,
really
this-
need to have a
This
camera in
last
there.
summer, we had 2 male booth workers and 3 with Imelda, 3 female workers in there.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, we really need to probably bring that up to 10.
I mean, it's a good idea for that. And then we also have public coming in there too. So
It
Yeah,
would protect,
It would be
it would
protected.
protect
Absolutely,
employees too.
yeah, for both sides, yeah.
So I got a disc golf question. What's our drug and alcohol policy in the park?
for like the public coming in,
Can I have a beer wandering around the park? Can
I don't think you can do it down the day use. I don't know about down here though.
Karen, do you know the answer to that?
Shelby, you're making an assumption. I think, and I don't know that this is written, but I think the policy has always been, we don't care if you sit down and have a beer or a glass of wine with your picnic lunch or when you're getting on and off your boat. If you drink too much, we're calling the cops. And there's not much of a gray area other than you can't bring glass.
Without walking around.
And we've never had a problem that I know of that made us want to change that policy. Because you don't see, I suppose now that we have more homeless people starting to be in our community, but you don't see them sitting around drinking either. So I don't know, but anyway, that's always been the theory, is that if you're behaving yourself and whatever, we don't care if you have a beer or a glass of wine.
I'm more thinking of marijuana. I just know that disc golfers, a lot of them partake in one or the other or both, when they, not all. And I'm just saying that this is
When
going
they're
to
out there.
become
I
a
think that's what he's trying to-
situation in the future that we may, I don't know if you want to have signs up. But just know that that clientele, again, not all of them, but a good chunk of them like to do both of those things.
I think skateboarders do too.
Yeah, but we don't have a skateboard park here. We do in the city, but and our skateboard park is not utilized very much.
I could see
But I do
where-
know that Aragon had a lot of problems with those issues. I don't know how they dealt with them. But when they first opened up over there, they were having a lot of those.
Yeah.
So,
They still do.
okay. I'm just kind of putting that out there that we may have to address it.
Kid can always post signs, I suppose.
So are you addressing the fact that of their behavior? You know, I rarely drink and I'm not a pot smoker. Okay, so I don't know those things. But here's what I can tell you, that if I can do those things and keep myself under control,
Then it's their right to do it.
do I need to have, I guess I always think that I can call the cops, but maybe not. Maybe I need to have more rule. I guess we'll have to see how it goes.
Is it a trash issue?
You don't get
Or
a call like
you
that,
mean
there's a
like
policy.
people are getting
What can you
obnoxious
do?
over it?
Well,
Or
I don't
Marijuana,
think the
you
most
can't have
people
it in
that I
public.
know that play disc
So
golf
that's
are
what
not
we
gonna
do.
be a behavior issue.
Well, and
More
then
trash.
it'd have to be.
You're gonna get complaints because
You're
of
gonna
the
get
smell.
complaints from
Yeah.
people that have their families here and the guy's over there smoking a joint. Or
Well,
probably
they're breaking
not,
the law at that point. And the marijuana is not an issue because it's against the law to have it out in public.
is it, I don't
Plus
know.
it's federal land.
Yeah, and you're on federal land and that could be,
So that might be a reason why we need to put a sign up to, unless you guys want to come down here every time somebody's doing something wrong.
we do anyway.
Yeah. But
We got down here a little late on the shotguns.
So no
Gina already
smoking
took care of
pot.
it.
So just to be clear, no smoking pot in public. Definitely no smoking pot on federal lands.
Yeah,
Okay, alcohol though is fine, obviously, if they get called, if the
we
cops
get,
get
we
called.
get
then they
called
get
down here
called.
during the summertime. I
Yeah,
know that
yeah,
because
yeah,
somebody gets
exactly.
intoxicated and becomes belligerent.
Yeah.
And then we deal with them.
Yeah,
But I can tell you, I can't think of anyone we've arrested
right,
and taken to jail.
right,
You
okay.
know, we get them settled down and get them to their place and
Put 'em in
that's
bed.
that's
Let's
what we,
hope to
yeah,
God
put them in
nobody
bed
fights over
and that's
this.
about it, you know?
Okay,
So,
okay,
yeah, it hasn't been, it has not been a major problem at all down here.
okay. So if anybody smells anybody smoking pot, we'll call the cops.
Yeah. We'll just, and what'll end up being, we'll ask them, put it out and explain to them, you're on federal property and you're out in the public, you can't
wanna
do
go to
that.
jail.
Yeah, the feds, the problem is if we get a federal law enforcement here, they'll probably, they could
Yeah,
take them.
they'd be like.
They'd cite them and go to
"You
federal
called me
court."
for a joint?"
Yep. So, but we would just try to
Yeah. alleviate
convince
that.
them to, let's get it out. So,
Okay. Does anybody else have any other business? No? Lynn, are you in Arizona?
He's on.
Oh,
No, she's still on there.
Oh,
She's
is she?
had her.
Oh, I'm here. I didn't hear what you said.
Arizona? Are you in Arizona?
Say it. Yes, I am. But I'm coming back Thursday. I'll be back in Pasco at 5 o'clock.
Did you get those rainstorms yesterday?
Yes, big rain. And it's been cold down here in the 40s and barely 50.
oh, we're at 50s to 80s. Oh, dang. Well, I move we adjourn.
Second,
Karen, are you good?
I'm good.
Okay,
I'm ready for my nap.
all right, thank you.
Night.
Good night.
Right.
So the